8 seconds. That's about the amount of time a prospect will spend reading an email once they've decided to open it. The reason why that's so important to understand is like the time window that you have to really grab their attention is extremely short. So if you want to compel a response, you have to be super tight in the language that you use to describe the problem and then connect it to your solution. So what we're going to talk about in this module is, one, how do you transition from that reason statement, the personalization trigger, to the problem? How do we then seamlessly connect it to our solution? And then of course, we're going to give you really easy tried and true formulas that you can use right away to upgrade your emails. So what you're going to walk away with is better language that you can use to instantly upgrade your emails and get more responses. So the first thing that we need to understand is, again, the universal language between you and your buyer is their problems, their priorities, what is going on in their world. The biggest mistake you can make is talking about your solution too soon and trying to get the buyer to come to your world because they didn't ask you to reach out to them. We have to meet them in their world where they're at, sell them on what they are already sold on. So the first big mistake is communicating in a way where the prospect's like, dude, I still have no idea what you do. So the big mistake here is speaking in what's known as product voice. So Gong data, we've shown it to you. When we use buzzwords, AI, platform, et cetera, it dramatically tanks open and reply rates. So if we were talking about sales training, for example, and we said our training programs help AEs self-source more pipeline, we're talking all about the program and what it does, instead of using customer voice and saying things like, hey, a lot of the revenue leaders we speak with, they want their AEs to self-source more pipeline, but they don't have the process or cultural accountability to make it consistent enough to stick.
Number 2, prospects do not feel the problem because you are describing it in the most vague, generic way possible. When I was a VP of sales, I received a million emails that sounded like a lot of VPs of sales are really focused on generating pipeline. Yeah, no shit, I'm focused on generating pipeline. That's like saying a lot of doctors are focused on making people healthy. It's too obvious. You have to get more specific. So if we go to this other example, generic language for a VP of ops might be, a lot of operations leaders want to automate more. Yeah, no shit. But the more triggering language would be, a lot of ops leaders want to remove production bottlenecks, but the shortage of welding talent is really tough, so it's pretty hard to remove those bottlenecks right now. It's specific to the welding industry, and it's specific to the ops leader.
Number 3 is your emails sound like they were written by a robot, not a living, breathing human being that they can actually connect to. And so if you're writing something that sounds like clinical operations stakeholders consistently report the need to optimize trial build timelines, they're going to shut that out. That doesn't sound like a person. And so instead, an improvement on that might sound like, look, when you're using spreadsheets and manual systems, it can make it really hard to get trial build times in under 4 weeks.
Next is the prospect feels like you're way too much effort to deal with. So this example you see on the screen, I mean, I don't even want to read it. Hey, in today's increasingly complex and multifaceted educational, and I have to put these things because these are real things that I actually see on a regular basis. We want to eliminate like any kind of long verbose language and speak to this person like we would be texting, like the example that you see on the screen here.
And lastly, number 5, I love looking at pitches where I have no idea what they do, and 9 times out of 10, it is because you are using solution proof instead of social proof. You are talking too much about what your solution is and does versus what it means for other people like you. So solution proof sounds like our pre-built CRF templates help you create better data flow, gain real-time visibility, and I don't care. Social proof simply says this is how our solution helps solve the problem for someone like you. Ultranomics ran into challenges with spreadsheets and double data entry across systems causing delays, just like you. Our solution helped us cut startup timelines from 12 weeks to 4 weeks. That's a quote directly from someone like you. It doesn't matter exactly how we did it. It doesn't matter if we had pre-built CRF templates. It matters that we helped someone else just like you solve the exact same problem that we called out in the first paragraph.
And Gong data shows that when you use social proof, it increases your reply rate. It's actually a little bit more for folks that are manager and below. So managers and below, including social proof, has a 2.25x impact on your reply rate. For directors, it's 1.5x. So if you're able to include it in a way that's natural, it's worth doing.
So the basic fundamental principle, this is time tested. For as long as people have been doing advertisements, it's problem and then value. That problem piece is people like you run into problems like this, just like you did in the messaging matrix. The value piece is social proof. People like you achieve these outcomes with our help. Problem, value. So now that we've talked about everything that's really bad and what not to do, and we've given some constructive examples, let's just give you some simple formulas that you can use to immediately put this into action. We have 3 of them. You don't need to use all 3 of these. These are just really simple ways that you can be a little bit more creative in how you articulate the problem and then the value around it. So let's talk about those formulas. One is what we call the deeper problem. This one I really, really like because it really shows that you understand the nuance around the problem. The way that this formula works is, hey, the hard part isn't this surface level thing. It's actually this like deeper, more nuanced thing. And then the value is we help other people like you achieve these outcomes. And really what that demonstrates is that I'm going beyond the surface level and I really understand the nuances of your industry and what you do and the stuff that you might be dealing with at your company. Okay, so what you're looking at here is the original email, and then we're gonna add an element to it. This is a small, very nuanced change, by the way, that only a director of curriculum and instruction might pick up on. So if you look at this middle sentence, it's eliminating achievement gaps is tough, especially when you need to meet the needs of a diverse learning population. That in and of itself is not bad. The way that we can punch that up though a little bit is the hard part isn't providing tiered levels of support, which is honestly what most reps would go in for. We can help you provide tiered levels of support. It's giving every student a voice so that they feel motivated and inspired to learn. That is, from an emotional standpoint, the director of curriculum and instruction, the number one thing that they care about is, do the students feel motivated? Do they feel seen? Do they feel really inspired when they come to school?
Jason, one nuance I'm picking up with this one is, one of the things we talked about in the messaging matrix is their current solutions, the ways they're trying to achieve that priority or solve that problem today. And what you're doing is you're actually calling out the thing that they're doing on their own to make progress on this thing, but it doesn't get them all the way there. And that's why this is beautiful. It's like, hey, I see you. Like, you're already providing tiered levels of support, but that doesn't get you over the finish line. That's really brilliant in this framework.
So the second formula is the want but. This is the formula that's really sort of stood the test of time. It's the age-old marketing formula like we talked about. Your buyer wants something, but there's a challenge standing in the way. So the formula looks like this. Persona wants aspiration, but run into challenge, the problem, right? The value piece is social proof is using our help to achieve this particular outcome. So if we look at the example, we'll use the VP of operations example again. If you look at the problem statement, recruiting and retaining top talent is likely a top priority, but the lack of skilled welders in the marketplace right now can cause big production bottlenecks. Again, that's not a bad email. So what you can see here is we've started with the aspiration. Many ops leaders want to remove production bottlenecks, and then we go to the challenge. But the shortage of welding talent is tough right now. So what we're kind of doing here is flipping it. Instead of just saying, here's a problem, here's how we help someone else solve it, it's talking about what people like them want to do and then what they run into. And what I found in my personal experience is that a lot of more executive type folks, they tend to be very aspirational in how they talk. So talking about something that they want to do, but something getting in the way can resonate with them. Last but not least, the before and after. So another age-old formula. This is if you've got case studies and good before after pictures, so to speak, this is where you can reference a similar type of client in the email. We've seen this work really great as well. So the formula for this is problem, social proof. A similar company was running into this challenge. They used our help to accomplish this thing. And this is where you can also leverage a short testimonial. So if you look at the first example here, this is a head of clinical ops. So again, this company sells an electronic document capture solution. It's all about helping their customers start these studies faster so they can get their product to market faster. So instead of saying, hey, clinical ops leaders tell us they want to enable the recruitment of upcoming trials, but spreadsheets and double data entry across multiple systems causes delays. Again, that's a great statement, but a way we can punch this up is this specific client, Ultranomics, ran into challenges with spreadsheets and double data entry across systems causing delays, and then we just throw in a testimonial right there. XYZ solution helped us cut startup timelines from 12 weeks to 4 weeks. Christine Brady, head of clinical ops at Ultronics. That's pretty cool, right? So instead of dropping a link to a case study where they have to go sift through a bunch of garbage, really, if we're being honest, it's mostly marketing speak. Let's just pull the one-liner out of the case study that's the most important piece.